There are certain things you would think Game Freak would have made into a Pokemon, or even a new Pokemon Form 4 that would have appeared in the past few generations, but they were a no-show. So let's talk about some things that should have been Pokemon, but weren't. Hey everyone, Brandon here. I have seen a lot of complaints about certain things that didn't make it into the Galar or Paldea Pokédex, so I wanted to discuss a few. One complaint I have heard a ton for Galar is how Wales and Scotland weren't represented nearly enough. A very common want I see from the community is some kind of Welsh Dragon. Wales has one of the coolest flags in the world with an epic bright red dragon on it. This could have easily made for an epic new dragon type, but honestly, the coloration of said dragon reminds me a lot of the bright red head of Druddigon. Either an evolution, regional form, or even a Gmax form for Druddigon would have been super cool. I mean, Druddigon wasn't even a part of the initial Galar Pokédex and was only added in the Isle of Armor. We definitely could have at least seen a Gmax form considering only the starters and Urshifu got them in the DLC, but I think either a Welsh Dragon evolution of Druddigon or just an original Pokemon would have been extremely cool. Another thing people were expecting in Galar was some kind of new evolution, since they had been occurring on even-numbered generations since Gen 2. Dragon and Steel were two very popular candidates, considering the UK and Europe in general is the land of knights and dragons. Also, the fact that the last evolution introduced was a fairy type, which Dragon and Steel share a type effectiveness with, and there was a pattern where the past few evolutions had one that was super effective against the other. Armurion by Badafra Art and Drakion by Michael Ryan are great examples of what we could have seen, representing a knight and a European dragon respectively. Another opportunity for a new evolution also presented itself in Paldea. Story spoilers here, but Penny at the end of the Starfall Road storyline uses a team of entirely evolutions. As my friend Hoops and Hip Hop pointed out, this was a total missed opportunity for a new evolution to make an appearance. Dragon and Steel still could have worked for the reasons I stated previously, especially given Penny is actually from Galar. But thematically, a ghost-type evolution would have worked as well, given Penny worked from the shadows throughout the story. Or given her codename Cassiopeia, the flying type would also make sense, given Cassiopeia in Greek mythology was placed in the sky as a constellation by Poseidon, as punishment for claiming her daughter was more beautiful than the water nymphs that accompany him. At this point, I am almost certain we will not be receiving another evolution in the future because of how many opportunities they have missed to make a new one, and as I'm sure the comments will point out, a plethora of other reasons. And that transitions me perfectly into some Pokemon that definitely should have made an appearance in Paldea. Starting with a big one, we have the Rooster of Barcelos. This ceramic poultry is an iconic part of Portugal, and one that was sorely missed by Portuguese Pokemon fans, as well as a Portuguese language option for the region, based on Portugal. Just saying. An abridged version of this rooster story goes like this. An innocent man was accused of a robbery and was being sent to the gallows. He pleaded his innocence, but no one believed him. Desperately, he pointed to the roasted rooster the judge was eating and said the rooster would crow the moment he was hanged if he was innocent. And sure enough, it somehow came back to life and crowed, and the hanging was stopped. There is even precedent to this rooster Pokemon coming to Paldea. In an interview with Portuguese news magazine Sabado in December of 2016, Omori and Masuda showed interest in this rooster figurine, and immediately began speculating about what kind of Pokemon it could become, saying it would make for a great flying type. So why didn't it appear? I even made a prediction for this kind of Pokemon with Kaifake Monasar called Rockroll, a rock flying type based on how the most common depiction of the rooster is this little ceramic figurine, which can be seen all over Portugal, as it's one of their national symbols. And for my UK audience, it's also the symbol for the chain restaurant Nando's. Portugal in general was fairly underrepresented, only having one small town that didn't even have a gym in it and very few Pokemon. And another piece of Portuguese culture I feel like we should have seen is fado music, a genre of music characterized by mournful, melancholy lyrics and tunes. I think a kind of singer Pokemon like my predictions Shadow and Akusol would have worked well. They are normal ghost type in reference to the normal type's affinity for sound-based moves in Pokemon, and the ghost type references the haunting and melancholy tone of fado music. Their designs are also modeled after fado guitars, and if you look closely, they have little music note tiers. This references the melancholy and sad nature of fado, but also the Hispanic American ghost story of La Llorona, or the Weeping Woman, furthering its ghost typing. I think Pokemon like these two could have helped add more Portuguese inspiration into the mix, but instead, we got a straight-up Flamingo, who don't even live in Portugal or Spain. Speaking of Spain, there is an animal I am shocked didn't make an appearance in a mostly Spain-based region, and that is the Barbary macaque. These little dudes live on the Iberian Peninsula in the British-controlled territory of Gibraltar. They are the only free-living population of primates in all of Europe. And given Game Freak loves to make monkey Pokemon, it came as a surprise that they wouldn't take advantage of this opportunity and make a new one. I made these Pokemon called Voltape and Macrash with trainer mats, which are pure electric type, as an example of what we could have seen. I made them electric type because we don't have an electric type monkey yet. I actually based Macrash's design on the lion-tailed macaque and one of my favorite monsters from Monster Hunter, the Rajang. Just saying, an enraged Super Saiyan monkey goes hard. If you've made it this far into the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to help support this channel and keep up to date with future videos like this one. A part of Spanish culture I was surprised didn't make an appearance in the form of a Pokemon was a tomato. This would have referred to the very famous La Tomatina festival held each year in the town of Buñol, in which people gather in the streets to have the world's biggest food fight, which these pictures out of context look like some kind of indie horror film. This is a fairly well-known festival globally, and I was shocked it didn't make the cut. This could have very easily translated into a grass fighting type tomato Pokemon like Tamamo and Janimo from Nordist here. It could have replaced Bramblin and Bramblegast, honestly. A tumbleweed Pokemon could have fit anywhere, or even better, would have fit incredibly in some kind of Western US based region. I'm not saying they're bad Pokemon, they just could have fit better in a different region. Another thing Paldea is very sparse in and was very missed are regional forms. Paldea currently only has 2 regional forms with 1 new evolution and 2 extra forms for Tauros. I know that we got convergent Pokemon as well, but that's only 9 forms total. Paldea majorly bucked the trends of previous generations with this one. There were some trends we were beginning to see with Alola and Galar. One of those was a dark normal form for a rodent from a previous generation, which I think Sentret and Furret would have been great candidates for, and a Meowth form, which was usually weak to the fighting type, so an Ice-type Meowth would have been cool. Pun intended. And just in general, more regional forms should have made an appearance in Paldea in my opinion. Maybe that's greedy, but there was a lot of missed potential there. On the topic of forms, let's talk about a new kind of form that was introduced in Scarlet and Violet: Paradox forms. There is one Pokemon in particular I was surprised to see not receive a future or ancient Paradox form, and that is Charizard. Charizard has always been Game Freak's golden boy, and especially for the past few generations. Having the rarest cards in the TCG, getting a Gmax form before the other 2 starters, and receiving 2 Mega Forms. And the only other Pokemon that can boast 2 Mega Forms is Mewtwo, who, honestly, I'm also surprised didn't receive a future Paradox form, given the whole armored Mewtwo thing. Here are some of my favorite predictions for Charizard and Mewtwo forms, but there are tons of great Paradox form predictions for these 2 over on Instagram, so definitely look them up. We are probably receiving DLC for Scarlet and Violet, so the jury is out for now, and these forms still could happen, but more than likely, we're only going to see the legendary Beast past form, the Swords of Justice future form, and whatever the 3rd Terrestrial legendary is that have already been teased. But we'll see. Maybe Game Freak will surprise us and give us more than just a couple forms or a new Pokemon for this DLC. And those are Pokemon we should have seen but didn't. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.